Hello and welcome to Humanities 320, the history of contemporary music. You've come to the right place. My name is Tom Zarecki, Z-A-R-E-C-K-I, and I think you're going to have a good time this semester. I will, so I hope you will too. In this first introductory video, we test all of our parts. We want to make sure that you can hear and see things properly, and that I communicate properly to you, and that you can, get the message of what all the assignments are. So we're going to make the first two videos sort of an orientation of the class, and that's exactly what we'll be talking about. As my first card showed, you like my high-tech graphics? You, me, and this course is what we'll be talking about in the videos. Anytime you see me on a video, by the way, it will always be 10 minutes or less, because YouTube only allows that amount, so that's certainly good news. I've taken a lot of college classes myself, and quite often the people teaching never really told me much about their own backgrounds, and that would annoy me. And I'd say, well, how do I know this guy or this woman knows anything at all about the subject matter? Do they really have experience in the field that they're talking about? Or are they just somebody that got a job teaching for some reason, and they have just a tiny bit of experience? Well, let me tell you, this is one of the few classes that I should be teaching because it is my background and it's my whole life. And I'll tell you about that really briefly so you get a feel for what I'm all about and what we'll be covering in this class that I can almost do from memory. Here's my whole resume on a little file card. I'm a DJ, a radio guy, I'm a musician, I'm a talent coach, a writer. I've worked in software for many years and computers for many years. Let me summarize each of those areas. I started as a disc jockey when I was 13 years old on the radio and worked for about 20-something years at various radio stations in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New York. I got the dream job of a lifetime when I was 19 because I was also a radio engineer, and I had a chance to work the equipment at the top-rated radio station in the world in Midtown Manhattan in New York City back when I was 19, working with celebrities that were disc jockeys. Now, I wasn't on the air at that station, but I got to work with really famous, highly paid guys who were, and that's really beneficial and very useful, especially when you're a young kid. So I used the radio background that I learned there and kept getting jobs in radio in different positions, on the air, off the air, in news, in sports, and worked, on the air for many years. I was also a club DJ for many years also at nightclubs that would, stay open until 2 o'clock in the morning. Then I'd have to get in at 6 in the morning and work on my radio job. So it was a lot of music and going to concerts and promoting concerts and meeting major artists and teeny-weeny artists and all kinds of performers. But it's a heavy background in that area. Also, I studied music from junior high school all the way through college. I went to college, get this, thinking I was supposed to have a regular job. People said, you can't have radio as a career, Tom. You need something real. So I went to college, majored in music so I could become a music teacher, but that never happened. I was a saxophone and voice major at WestConn in Danbury. But all the while I kept working in radio, and my career kept going on and on and on in the radio business, which was kind of cool. So let's look at my resume again. So I have a background in music. I play many instruments and sing. I still sing to this day. I moved into the radio area of talent coaching. I would be hired by radio stations all around the country. They would fly me to different states where I would advise the morning guy or the afternoon DJ or the nighttime jock how to make their show better. And I learned what makes mass appeal entertainment as good as possible. Quite often I would pick out the songs for the whole radio station and invent contests and design billboards and all that. So my background is really right up that alley. But I would coach talent at radio stations of all different formats: jazz, rock, soul, R&B, all around the United States. I worked ultimately in 65 radio stations in 35 states, traveling around back during the 80s. Then I started writing columns in magazines, and I developed really the skill of expressing my thoughts on paper as well as visually or audibly. So that's my writing career, and I still write columns today for some radio magazines. I moved into the area of software, which is down near the bottom here, and I was a software marketing and promotion guy at a major software company, which had clients all around the United States, but all the clients were radio stations. So because my background is in radio, I ended up promoting our product to guys from radio stations in the United States and in other countries around the world. So I did a lot of traveling, meeting a lot of people, but it was all related to radio and software. And the last part of my resume there is computers. I've spent a lot of time, probably the last 20-something years, with various aspects of computers. So I have a very unusual career. Not only can I perform in public, entertaining, singing, DJing, playing. I was a mobile disc jockey at weddings and parties and that kind of stuff too for many years. I did over 1,000 in-person events Jeez, can you imagine that? So I really have a deep background in almost all major genres of music, and that's part of the abilities I want to convey to you by the end of the semester. What you will learn by the end of the semester is your ability to talk about music in a better way. What I've learned over the years is most people that only casually listen to or think about music can only compare two songs by saying, oh, these guys are good, they're great, I like them, or whatever words you use to say that somebody's excellent, or they suck, they're bad, I hate them. Well, that's okay, but that's not very clear. And what this class will do is give you the words to be able to talk about music in an adult, normal way, to be able to compare specifically one artist over another, sometimes without even giving your opinion, which is pretty exciting. But we'll be doing this for all the different genres of music. The class itself is divided into two chunks. The first chunk, before we get to the genres of music, we'll be talking about the music vocabulary. What are the main words used to analyze music? Melody, harmony, rhythm, title, artist, composer, arranger, tempo, all that kind of stuff. We'll be talking about those very soon, within the next week, the music vocabulary that you'll need to know. So we'll be covering that stuff so you can use those in the way you describe artists back to me in the different assignments. That's the first chunk of the class. The last chunk of the semester will be the specific genres that we'll be covering in a fair amount of detail. We'll be covering only major performers. If somebody is a one-hit wonder and they only had one song, we won't be talking about them. There's no time. If there's an artist who was never signed by a record company, they may be terrific, but nobody's ever heard of them. There's no time for that either. There are so many major artists, hundreds and hundreds of major artists in each genre, that I want to be able to bring up some of the major ones in jazz, in R&B, in rock, in alternative rock, in soul, dance, club music, disco, jazz. Did I say jazz already? But the major genres, and country music as well. We'll be covering all the genres, and we'll be covering the major performers in each of those genres, because part of the outcome, the goal of this class, is to be able to allow you to be able to be conversant in each of those genres. Even if you don't like, let's say, country music or hip-hop music, you should be able to name off the top of your head 2 or 3 artists from this genre or that genre and be able to compare new songs when you hear them. The last thing for this video, before we get to the next video on this page, which will have your actual assignment due next week, I want to talk about assignments briefly. Assignments generally will come out every Monday and Thursday, more or less in the afternoon. Okay, so Monday and Thursday afternoons, the assignments will come out. I'll send you an email and say, okay, here's a link, go to this website or this page. It'll generally be to these things, Hub Pages. That's where you are now. Hub Pages are a content sharing site. It's a social networking form of communication. And I write the articles that are on the pages. And then I also embed on those pages these videos or links to music videos or display the music videos themselves. So you'll go to the Hub Pages with each Monday and Thursday and read one article and watch a bunch of videos or find links to the videos that I'll guide you to those videos. And then you'll comment back to me on what you see. So in other words, to summarize, here's what you'll be doing throughout the semester. And this is kind of cool. You'll be watching videos, so make sure you can see the videos of me and other things that'll be pointed to during this class. So your computer has to be able to see video. A good test is if you can see me, you'll be able to see everything for this course, I hope. Or you may want to go to YouTube directly, play some videos. If you can play them, if you can see them, then your computer is okay. The second part is audio. You need to be able to hear what I'm saying, like you're listening to me right now. You need to have a headset for that, or a good speaker system, or any kind of speaker system. But hopefully it's pretty good, like headsets normally are, because music is fun to listen to if it's in good fidelity. The college library also has some computers available. If you bring your own headset and those computers aren't in use at the time, you'll be able to use the ones on campus. If for some reason your computer blows up, somebody pours Diet Pepsi on your computer, or you just want to listen on campus. And in each case, you'll be reading the articles on the same topic that will be covered in the videos, and then you'll be handing in the written assignments each week. I'll be asking about what you've watched, this artist or that artist, compare somebody with somebody else, and tell me what you think in your own words, because that's what this class is about, conveying musical thoughts in your own words. One other note before we go. Whoop. My 10 minutes are up, so I really do have to go. Anytime you get an email from me, please reply to it right away. Even if you don't read it right away, just send a note back that says, yes, thanks, I got it. I just want to verify that you're checking your email and that you did, in fact, get the email from me. All right, so I'll be sending out assignments by email, and they will link you primarily to Hub Pages articles like the page that you're on right now. So the assignment that's due next week, I'll talk about in the next video. All right, so go to video number 2, and that will have your actual assignment in it. Thanks.